Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Cairns for this broadcast on Botanic Gardens Day 2022. I am settling in here at the Cairns Botanic Gardens, the Flicker Garden, and this is the main entrance of the gardens. And I have a special guest for you to appreciate, who we're going to meet very shortly. But this is the main entrance to the garden, and the road in is a beautiful palm-laden species, overflowing with different species. I learnt a little bit about the road in by the taxi driver, actually, which was really fascinating. And here's these beautiful entry gates. All right, so let's not waste any more time and go in and see the curator, who is tucked away somewhere in the gardens here. Look, there he is. It's just like by chance he may have been waiting here for me. But a very good morning, Charles Clarke. How are you?
Very well, thanks. Nice to meet you.
It's wonderful to meet you, and wonderful that you could open up the gardens for this live broadcast for me. Not that they're not open. Everyone, come join the spectacular plants, palms, and ecosystem here of the Cairns Community Garden. Now, Charles, give us a little bit of background on your position here and your role.
Okay, so Costa, I'm the curator of Cairns Botanic Gardens, which means I'm basically the manager. It's largely an administrative role, but I oversee the gardening teams who look after this wonderful garden. Basically, I live in a box a lot of the time, but occasionally they let me out and come and have a look at this amazing place where we work. And yeah, it's just a really spectacular, wonderful garden to work in.
Now, where will we begin? Maybe standing next to this incredible tree. Tell us about this resident.
So this is our teak tree, Tectona grandis, one of the world's finest timber trees. And I note on its name tag there that it was planted in 1946, and it's a native to Southeast Asia, particularly countries like Burma, Thailand, Malaysia. And while I don't know the history of it very well, it's quite possible, given the time it was planted and where it was from, that it bears some recognition as a memorial tree to the sacrifices in the Second World War.
Aha! Look at these incredible folds in the trunk.
Beautiful thing.
It sure is. Wow, there's so many. How old are the gardens here? Just as a bit of background.
The gardens were started in the mid 1880s by Fitz Allen. So he was a market gardener who lived in Cairns, and almost from the establishment of the settlement of Cairns, there was momentum in the community for a botanic garden. So Eugene Fitz Allen established a market garden / botanic garden where he grew roses and a variety of other ornamental plants. And they also trialled a lot of tropical agricultural plants to see whether they would suit the Cairns climate. So we have a very wide range of exotic tree species in this garden, which makes us a little bit different from many other Australian botanic gardens because the emphasis has always been very strongly on exotics.
Now, what country are we on here?
That's a very good question. I cannot remember exactly where we are at with our land claims, but we do know that we are now down to a single claimant and that the land claims have not yet been resolved.
Okay.
So it's in the process of being resolved, but we don't have complete certainty at this stage.
Okay. All right. Well, as we settle in here to everyone watching, and as we set off on this broadcast, I want to acknowledge the country that we're on here in Cairns, and acknowledge the elders past, present, and emerging, to all of you viewers as well. Let us know where you're coming to us from which country. I can see Toby, you're here joining us from WA. Brodie's here. Good morning, Tony Brown. Karen Sanchez up on the Gold Coast. Tingy's here from Sydney. Rick Sanchez, good morning to you. So, all right, well, what do you reckon, Charles? Where shall we head?
Let's go into the conservatory, which is the jewel in the crown of the gardens and where all the really cool stuff hangs out.
Yeah, can I say, everyone, Charles and I went for a quick little walkthrough before I started this broadcast, and this is worth the price of entry, let me tell you. And there is no charge. That's the crazy thing. This is open to the public every day. It's called the Watkins Monroe Martin Conservatory. And looking at the discussions that we had with the first of our Thursday night yarns for Began's month, there's some beautiful science communication here to get it underway. And each of the areas of the garden, really simple but clear graphics, so that there's the bromeliads, the tassel ferns and carnivorous palms and aroids, butterfly food plants, begonias, understory palms, aquatic plants, cycads and bromeliads, orchids. Really nicely done, so people can see straight away what they're looking at. So we've got, Charles, we've got people joining us from Bathurst, from, what a beautiful day. Nearly as old as the gardens, Catherine. I can't imagine you're 140 years old, Catherine. Western Australia, good on you, Brodie, in Albany. All right, here we go. Look at this. Have a look at this, Charles. Look through the camera.
Oh, awesome,
doesn't that look amazing?
Yeah, cool.
Wow.
Yeah.
Here we go, everyone. This is like we are sort of creatures in the mist. And how does the mister work, and what's that for?
Yeah, it's actually a high pressure cleaner, so like a water blaster. So we get a water blaster pump, and we've got stainless steel tubes with special agricultural fogging nozzles on the end. They're all made in Turkey for agricultural projects over there. So we've just customised the system and put it into the conservatory here, so that we can mimic the environment you get in a lot of tropical habitats, which is foggy or misty at the beginning and end of the day, without being too wet. And that's basically the droplets you can see now.
Wow, it sets a beautiful, and the camera's picking it up, particularly with the light refracting through the mist.
Yeah, when you run sprinklers, you often can't see the drops, but with fog, you can see it all the time. It comes across really well on the camera.
And back to that science communication. These are really beautifully done.
Yeah, they were put in when the conservatory was built. They were sponsored by the Friends of the Botanic Gardens. Really beautiful signage. What we're planning to do now is we're slowly changing the theme of the conservatory. So it was originally based on different groups of plants, and now we're starting to break the theme up. So bit by bit the signs are going to be replaced, and we're going to have rotating themes of the conservatory focusing on issues relating to rare and endangered tropical plants, tropical rainforest management and deforestation and things like that. So we're in a transition phase with the conservatory at the moment.
Yeah. Someone just said, see that seriously curly anthurium hanging up on the right just as you enter.
That would be...
seriously curly one.
This one, probably.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Here we go.
See if I can
Well spotted. Well spotted. Nothing gets through. Nothing gets past the eyes of the...
the anthurium fans. Anthurium angustia attenuatum.
There you go.
I've never even heard of that.
Wow. And there you go. That's a sign of the reality of horticulture. Even the curator is there's humility aplenty, because you just can't know every plant.
No.
It's like,
I don't even try.
Yeah, exactly.
And once you learn a name, it probably changes a few weeks later anyway, because as we taxonomists learn more and more, we find that things we thought had one particular name actually need a different one. So there's a lot of change.
Ray Clarke says, looks just like the rainforest with the light streaming through. I mean,
Yeah,
look
it
at
really
that.
does. Yeah, yeah. And for me, I've spent a lot of time in Southeast Asian rainforests. One of the best things about putting this fogger in is any time I feel homesick for Southeast Asia, I just come in here.
Come for a walk.
And yeah,
Yeah.
it solves the problem.
These tassel ferns, I can imagine there's lots of people watching this video and would be thinking how I'd love to have, and there's so many different varieties of them. Look, like everywhere I'm looking, everyone, like the nuance differences between them. Look at the
We've got a big collection, and to be honest, they're one of the easiest plants for us to grow. A lot of people think they're very difficult, but to be honest, we find very little trouble with them. The only thing is a disease called coconut scale, which can be quite detrimental to them and hard to control. But other than that, if you give them moderate, mild temperatures, high humidity, good air circulation, and a very open, free-draining potting mix, regular wheat fertiliser, you can't go wrong.
really,
Really easy to grow. Yeah.
I mean, look at just these different varieties. I mean, you can see that they're part of a family.
Yeah, the textures like this one compared to that one, they're so different, so soft, and yet they're much more bristly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Vicky's just said, thanks for joining the 3CR Gardening Radio Show. Oh, look, that was a pleasure. It was a real pleasure to be asked on, and what a panel that was on discussing all things Botanic Gardens Day and horticulture. Whoa, these are incredible.
Yeah, they're beautiful, aren't they? So these are fan palms, closely related to our tropical Australian fan palm from North Queensland. But these species in this bed here, nearly all of them come from one mountain in Borneo, just outside the city of Kuching. And this mountain's only about 500 or 600 metres high, and it has more species of palms on it than all of Australia. It's quite a remarkable place, and not only does it have a lot of species of palms, but it has some of the most beautiful ones as well. These are really spectacular. These are fully mature, large palms for this particular species. Easy enough to grow, just hard to get.
They look unreal.
They do,
Like,
yeah.
they really do. The way they come out, and their leaves are just perfect.
Yeah,
And they're like this catchment to catch the water and gather as much as they can. They're perfectly designed. Oh, nature, stop it.
Yeah, we've found too, since we put this fogging system in, we've been able to cut our water use dramatically. And we've also cut our diseases a lot because the droplets are so fine, they don't settle as much as heavy water droplets from normal sprinklers. So we use less water and we get far fewer plant diseases because the leaves don't stay as wet as long when we do water.
Yeah.
And so, there's been a huge spurt in growth and health of the plants since we started doing this. So, we're really, it's sort of ticked every box. It improves the atmosphere, makes the plants happier, keeps me happy.
Yeah.
Probably one of the most important things.
Yeah. Ian Sharkey says Spielberg could have filmed Jurassic Park in here.
Yeah, really, yeah.
I reckon you're right, Ian. Like, I don't have to do anything other than point the camera, and the way everything is bouncing off. Oh, look. Now, I turned around to do a bit of filming, and I get the feeling you just pulled that out of your pocket.
I've got a bag of them in my back pocket. I just stick them on here and there.
Oh.
We have quite a few butterflies in here, all native species. We buy the pupae and release them into here. We're actually here at a good time because while they're not flying, when it's cool this morning, when the misters are on and the weather's a little bit cooler, they'll settle like this. So when you walk in, you don't see them flying, but you do, if you've got sharp eyes, find them resting on the plants having a drink.
That was literally like you. You just put it there.
Here's one I made earlier.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I love the way that the foliage here does a little bit of a hair flick on the end.
We don't know why they're doing that. They've only started doing it since we put the fogger in. So we're not entirely sure what's going on there. I'll show you this tree on your right. It doesn't look like much. this one here, this is in the Neetum family. So sort of halfway between conifers and flowering plants. They used to be recognised in their own group, but now they're considered the most primitive flowering plants. This one's called Neetum lemon. It's an Asian species. And in Indonesia and the Philippines and Malaysia, they use the seeds, they make a paste, and they make little crackers out of them, called emping belinjo. And they're absolutely delicious. They're also called bitternut crackers in English. And this tree has just recently been discovered as occurring on islands in the Torres Strait. And Australia is recognised as like a living ark for primitive plant species. This was the one big family that was missing, but now we've found that it naturally occurs on Australian soil. So it's a really interesting discovery made in recent years. It fills in a gap in our floral evolution.
In your knowledge. Yeah.
So, really cool. Not a difficult plant to grow, but sort of some people have success, some people don't. But we don't get much flowers or fruit here. At any Southeast Asian supermarket or something like that, we'll have these little crackers. I strongly recommend them. They're yummy.
Now, Fazar just said my mother-in-law passed away recently and gave that fern where the butterfly was to my husband. It's a tassel fern.
Yeah.
That's probably the exact variety.
Probably pretty close. Yeah, this is quite a common one.
Yeah, that's probably the most common one that I see around.
Yeah, that's
so tassel fern, Fazar.
Yep.
That's nice memory of your mother-in-law. Yeah, I like the way that there's that little upturn.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Yeah. And they're quite easy to propagate. You can just cut these off and lie them on a seed raising mix and bury the base of the cutting and keep the top part exposed to the light, keep it moist and not too wet. And they strike really readily. Really readily. They're very easy to grow.
Well, I reckon at the pace
we're going,
Charles and I are going, this is going to go for about 17 hours.
Yeah, it probably is. The fog's a bit severe up here, and there's
look at it.
Actually, there is another one. I was going to say we'll skip this, but one of my favourite plants in here is here.
Oh, here's all the butterflies.
Yeah, this is all information about the butterflies. This is where we used to have them emerge from their cocoons, but the geckos discovered our system and ate them all. So we had to come up with something different. We'll show you that in a few minutes when we get to the other side.
Okay.
But this is one thing I wanted to show you. This is a heliconia. It's called Heliconia solomonensis. And this is a really cool heliconia. This is, for all the garden staff, this is our favourite one. We don't dig the really colourful ones that everybody else likes. We like the green ones because we're gardeners and we're all a bit weird. But the reason we like it is the greenness is unusual, because most heliconias from Central and South America are pollinated by hummingbirds, which respond to bright colours. But there's a handful of species from the Pacific Islands in New Guinea, which not a lot of people realise, and they're pollinated by bats or honeyeaters, which don't respond so much to colour. So the plant doesn't have to invest in colour, so it just pumps out green flowers. And yeah, just a really spectacular, amazing thing.
So it's like the shopping centre with no neon lights.
Pretty much, yeah. It's just doing what it has to do, nothing more. Yeah.
You know who I am. I don't need to get all blinged up. Yeah. Just come and do the job.
You know you need me.
You know you need me. Donna Hay just asked, there's a beautiful purple flowering lily type plant in there.
Cochlear stemma?
Yep.
Yes, we'll get to that.
Okay, we're going to get to that because you wanted to know a bit more about it. Okay, look at that. They're preempting you.
Yep.
Charles, they're just... Yeah, it sounds like it. Oh, people in the city who are getting into foliage plants would just die for a leaf like that.
Yeah.
Like it's almost as big as me.
Yeah.
Like that's 1.2 meters, maybe even a bit more. This one here is probably 1.2, 1.3 meters. Imagine.
Yeah. We tie them to logs, which you can see in the background there, for them to climb up, and they get to the top of them so fast. All of our ones are sort of over top their logs, so we're going to have to take them down and reapply them and get some bigger logs eventually. Yes, this is probably the group of plants that do best in this structure.
I can see the structure here itself.
Yeah.
Wow.
And the whole roof is designed to mimic frond of a fan palm.
Oh,
this is the
okay.
central store.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah,
Look at
these
that, everyone.
ribs, yeah. It's a really amazing structure.
What a brilliant design. Particularly when you get it brought to your attention.
Yeah. I'll show you another thing too. This awesome rock. Before I started working at the gardens, I used to think, how did they get that rock in here? It's actually a fiberglass skin that sits over the pond pump, and it only weighs about 20 kilos. Yeah, it's doing really
and
well.
it looks, it's just got so much lichen and moss, and there's little ferns growing on it. Wow.
Yeah, it's just incredible. You should have seen the look on my face the first time I got here.
When they broke the dream.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. So we're just going around our pond in the centre at the moment. But as I told you before, we just had a bit of an issue with our pump here, so we're rehabilitating the pond at the moment. So we've only just reintroduced plants and fish to it.
Yeah, so they're re-establishing.
Yeah, they're re-establishing well, but it's a slow process.
Yep.
Building an ecology in a freshwater environment takes time.
Yep.
So yeah, we'll get there.
Oh, look back over there. And there's the fern roof. You can appreciate it more from this point, and it does feel like a frond.
Yeah, it actually feels like you're sitting under the leaves.
Yeah,
it's pretty cool.
Oh, the light here, Charles, is amazing.
It is. I think when they built it, they knew they had a spectacular structure on their hands, but I think there's other parts of it which they couldn't have envisaged would work as well as they did.
Yeah. This struck me when we did our quick little walk around.
Yes. These are so cool. This is an epiphytic, I think the only epiphytic cycad species, the one that consistently is. It's from Mexico, as far as I'm aware. And I can remember the species name, but not the genus name. So I'll just jump over here and see if I can read the label. Zamia pseudoparasitica.
Zamia pseudoparasitica. That is a great name.
It is, yeah.
I reckon.
So they must have thought it was a parasite at first and then realised that it isn't. And you can see the female cones on that one there. This is, in Australia, is quite a rare plant. And many of these, I think a lot of these are about 30, 40 years old. These ones in our collection. Yeah.
Zamia pseudoparasitica. They're playing tonight at Rusty's Market.
Tonight only.
Yeah.
They won't spend much time in a market.
Yeah.
And on your others behind you, Costa, is my favourite plant in the conservatory, which we'll get to in a sec.
Oh, now we're talking. I like it when people sort of commit.
Yeah. Actually, before we get to that, we'll talk about it. Yeah. We decided to try a couple of Wallamai plants. We haven't got the right climate. It's a bit too warm up here.
Yep.
But we thought if we pop them in the conservatory, we might get away with it. And so far, so good.
Oh, and there's the second one.
Yep, we've just got to hope that they're happy to grow up to about 8 metres and not get any bigger. Because, like I said, our climate is not ideal for these.
Yeah.
I've tried them at my home here and failed every time. So I'm not sure if I know anybody in Cairns who has succeeded. Lots of cool cycads.
Oh, the cycads here.
Yeah. I
hope it's coming through the camera for you, everyone, because the cycads are phenomenal and more beautiful signage.
This is a native species, Bowenia spectabilis. Really beautiful thing. This is my favourite cycad. Such an elegant leaf.
Look at that leaf. That is like it's been painted.
Yeah.
The glossy, and that really voluptuous.
Yeah,
curve.
It's a beautiful curve in it, isn't it?
Yeah.
And one of the cool things about this plant is it's one of the most toxic plants in the world. A lot of plants sequester toxic chemicals to stop them from being eaten by animals. And some of those are manufactured by the plants themselves, or some of them are drawn up from the soil. And this one draws up minute amounts of mercury from the soil.
Wow.
So, yeah, you can only handle these for a small amount of time.
David,
yeah, I have a
David
friend.
starts to
Exactly.
David starts to faint.
Exactly.
I'll have to end
Yeah.
the broadcast. Wow.
Yeah, I had a friend who worked on them a lot, and he ended up having some minor nerve damage in his fingers. But he was handling them every day for years. So you know, it's like touch it once, it's not going to have any impact at all. But not something to be handling all the time.
Well, nature's mechanisms,
Yeah.
they never, like, seriously don't cease to amaze. Like,
Yeah,
the capacity to draw up minerals as a
Yeah.
way of saying, there's
Totally.
my defense system. Yet it can be so beautiful, yet lethal.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. This is my favourite plant.
Oh.
This is an impatiens, believe it or not, or a busy lizzie. And yeah, this is an extraordinary species that grows on limestone cliffs in Thailand and Malaysia. And normally it grows horizontally out the cliff face and then sort of turns up. But it will also grow on ground level too. And it almost looks like a little baobab.
It does.
It's an incredible looking thing. It's just probably about 2 meters tall. One of the reasons we put it in the middle of the bed is basically so that no one, including us, touches it, because it looks like a solid tree, but it's just spongy. So if you go up and just sort of push your finger against it, the whole thing wobbles. So it's incredibly fragile. And it doesn't produce very many seeds, and when it does, they're held in little capsules at the tips of these flower stems, and when they're ripe, they explode like rubber trees and fling the seeds all over the place. Yeah.
Wow.
But we get no germination, which is a bit disappointing. So yeah, that's it. We've got one other tiny one out the back in the nursery, but this is the only big one. But I love it. It just looks so nice.
Oh, Vicky's heading out to Rip and Lee to walk around the gardens. Yeah, look, it's no botanic garden, but it certainly has a lot of beautiful botanical species in there. Look at I love this, Charles, the way that from the new leaves and their gentle curve and formation down to
once
the bigger
once you
leaf
get down here,
and they're quite spiky along the margin.
and
like, you wouldn't
firm.
want to rub your hand along that edge.
No, so at the moment it's okay, but once it's hardened up, like this older one, it's quite nasty.
Would really rip your skin.
Yeah, they break off just under your skin and the tips, and they're very hard to get out. And that's Samia, Skinneri from Panama.
Samia Skinneri, wow. Okay. Wow, that is spectacular.
That's an amazing thing, isn't it?
It is like a bonsai.
Yeah, really cool tree. Shouldn't call it a tree, really.
Begonias.
Yeah.
Look at the leaf on that begonia. That's the other thing up here with the growth rate.
Yeah.
Like someone growing this down in Melbourne, the leaf is going to take a while.
Yeah, we actually get an enormous free hit up here with the climate.
Yeah.
A lot of things that, like I used to live in Melbourne and used to go to the Botanic Gardens and get into the tropical glasshouse and just go crazy. But once you move up here, you realise what a challenge it is growing these plants well in that climate. Whereas here, we just don't have to worry.
Yeah. If anyone wants to get a screenshot of that. And here we have more butterflies. Again, beautiful signage. I love the signage.
Glad you like it.
It's
we often think we haven't got enough.
Oh, but it's, I look at this signage and I want to go and read it.
Yeah.
Like it's
nice
enticing. It's not like the graphic design, and that's what we talked about in the first Thursday night yarn, with the two I just got to try and think of their names, but and we talked about that. It's not too much information, but enough, some images so that you can tie the image with what you're looking at, and a few factoids.
Exactly.
And not overdo it.
That's all you need. Yeah.
Oh, people, any indoor plant lovers, they would be wetting their plants on this. Like, seriously. Hello, Kathleen. Hey, how are you? Wow, Brukova, lovely to see you here. So good to tune in from Hidcote Manor in the Cotswolds. This is my daily dose of Aussie inspiration. Homesick. Welcome, Tyler. I love how nature has the capacity to rectify levels of excess impurities. We just need more plants.
We do, absolutely. And they're
Good on
actually
you, Paulie.
they're rehabilitating mine sites in Southeast Asia now with plants.
Wow.
So when you get what are called serpentine or ultramafic soils, they're often left over. Well, they're very common in Southeast Asia and parts of Australia, and they often contain high levels of things like cadmium or what else? A variety of different heavy metals, and certain plants are accumulators of those metals. So if you've got an abandoned or disused mine site in Southeast Asia, if you plant the right combinations of local plants that are hyper accumulators of these heavy metals, you can draw large quantities of them out of the tailings in a short space of time. And so this is a developing technique that they're hoping to deploy much more commonly across Southeast Asia in the not too distant future to clean areas up.
Wow.
Yeah, pretty cool. This is a bit of a sad corner of the Conservatory, Costa, because this is where we used to display our giant Titan arum lily called Spud, which hasn't flowered. In fact, we've almost lost Spud because it picked up a disease and it's just slowly gone backwards. So Spud went from being like an 80 kilometre corm down to about a 250 gram one now. But we have some other flowering size Titan arums, and we're just crossing our fingers and hoping that they will flower in the not too distant future. But we found that this site where they used to live in the conservatory is just a little bit too wet and still for them. So we've had to move them out the back. So they live out there now, and they'll only come in when they flower.
Oh, and people can watch.
Because people can see them then.
Yeah.
But for us to keep them healthy, we have to have them in a more open, better circulated site.
Yep. Oh, these anthuriums, I can hear the world of indoor gardeners just saying, I just want that one, you know. Yeah. And then you've got this one, and then if that's an anthurium or this, you know, it's just
it just goes on. They're the easiest plants for us to grow in here. These are ant plants.
Oh, ant plants, I love them.
These things, yeah. And we're breaking all the rules with these. We're keeping them too wet. They often like to be quite dry with good drainage. The thing with ant plants is if you find somewhere where they're happy, you just put them there and we'll leave them. They're all pups, they're seeds that have germinated. So they flower very freely. And set seed all the time. You see some fruits like this one, which is pretty cool. And everyone has 2 seeds in it. Just pops straight out like that. And these can be put on any surface where an ant plant might grow, like another ant plant, or a suitable mix, such as that. And that's it. They'll germinate in days.
Couple that grow.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
In days.
In days. They'll germinate very quickly. The trick with growing ant plants is that they hate root disturbance. So disturb the roots, and there's a good chance you're going to lose them.
Okay.
And you've also always got to understand when you're growing them that they don't have their resident ants inside when we grow them in captivity. And those ants in the wild provide them with defense, nutrition, fertilizer, you name it. It's a real symbiosis with the ants. So they're quite touchy in conservation.
Okay, yeah. Your pitcher plants are all very happy here.
Yeah. They get a lot of attention from the public, as you can see. They're happy, but this is the cooler time of year, so they're transitioning from rapid growth to slow. So we're getting quite a lot of dying off of pitchers.
Oh, yeah.
If you do grow these pitcher plants yourself and do it with some success, when they die back like this, it's best to leave the bottom bit on, as long as it's green. Because while it's green like this, it contains fluid and insects it's caught, and it's just slowly digesting them and pulling the nutrients out. Take it off. Exactly. Take it off too early and you're taking food away. It's sort of like cutting the leaves off a daffodil once it's flowered. It's best to leave them on and let them die down so that the bulb can draw all the nutrition back in.
Calatheas are my favourite. Oh, volume levels, lady. Let me have a look.
Yep. Put some water on it.
Oh no, we're good. How's that, Karen? I think we're good. Look at the light through that one. Beautiful. Look at the foliage on this one.
This is a beautiful cycad. It's such detailed foliage. You tend to think of cycads as having quite basic
Yeah.
leaves, but no.
Look, this is so dense.
Yeah. And this is another one that loves the fogging machine. It's just gone so well. This one is Cycas deboensis.
Deboensis.
Yeah. From southeastern China.
When you look at that in the frame here, have a look at this, Charles. You've got the structure of the roof and the structure of the cycad. Yeah. They're one and the same. Yep. You almost can't tell which branch is which. Wow, this is beautiful. I could.
You come on a good day.
Oh, it is a stunning day.
Yeah,
like
really lovely
just
weather.
Every photo's a final frame.
Yeah. Do we need to go and find that purple flowered plant that lady was asking about?
Oh.
We might have to very quickly backtrack a little bit.
Oh, okay.
See if we can beat a path through the It's a cochlear stemmer. You can just see it through there in the.
That's the purple flower. Yeah. Okay.
So we haven't got any reds here, I'm afraid. However, we can talk about it through the mist if you like, from this side. It's basically a plant that mimics a bromelia. So it looks like a bromelia, but it's totally unrelated. It has a similar leaf structure. It has those beautiful purple flowers that you can see through the foliage there. Again, it's a relatively easy enough plant to grow, but a very difficult one to propagate. We grow it both in the conservatory and out in the gardens, and we don't notice any particular difficulties with it or anything like that.
Paulie says the sounds of little people enjoying the outdoors. Just love it.
Sure are,
yeah. That's nicely picked up, Paulie. We're just moving around, looking. Oh, these bromeliads here. They're just having a ball.
This is a medanilla. It's a really beautiful one from the Philippines.
Yeah, that was the other one. The other one there that I showed with the new foliage.
Yeah.
There it is there, Medanilla miniata.
Which is a funny name because it's huge.
Yeah. And look at the trunk.
Yeah. It's really.
It's not really round.
Corky,
it's kind of corky. Yeah. Oh, and the new growth. That was that same new growth I was looking at on the other Medanilla, and then it comes out and it's got this sort of port wine kind of colour, and then it goes to the deeper green, and there's the contrast. Oh, Charles, what a exit! I don't want to. No, I don't want to go. I want to stay.
You can go around again.
Wow. Oh, and here's Ross. Shall we say hello to Ross?
Yeah, let's say hello to Ross.
Let's say hello to Ross. Hang on a sec.
Standing next to my bin.
Now, Charles, you explained Ross is he's a ganger.
A ganger.
A ganger.
Ganger of the.
What does ganger mean?
He's in charge of the chain gang of gardeners.
The chain gang, the axes and the picks.
Yeah. Yeah, so basically we have several teams of gardeners around the precinct. So this area, which is Flecker Garden, is Ross's patch. So he has a team of 3 guys and him that look after Flecker Garden.
Crack team of 4 gardeners within the Flecker area.
Wow. It's a big area though.
It's reasonably big, yes.
Yeah. When I think of what I can do in one day in the garden, I can't imagine how 4 people can contribute to their skills.
4 people full time, 5 days a week. That's just within this area, and then of course we've got the whole botanic gardens, the whole precinct, and through the boardwalk and across the other side.
Yeah. We also have a nursery crew of 2 who look after the nursery out the back and the conservatory.
Paulie said, "I need a Ross."
We all need a Ross. We're lost when Ross goes on holidays.
Spread the word. There might be a few people I know need convincing.
Well, thanks for coming in on a Sunday, Ross. And, I know that
it's always a pleasure to,
I heard that
to come here.
You've been just cleaning things up and removed a few leaves from the teak lawn.
Yes, that's for today at least.
Yeah, and there's a couple coming back already, even after you'd raked up. Wow. Well,
Turkeys will probably come in.
oh, here they come. Here
Play-
come.
play that
The
part.
turkeys are marching. Look at the strut. Don't they have plenty of attitude?
Yeah, they own this one. We kind of work around.
Yeah, nice actually.
Wow. Can I come work there on the weekends?
Yeah,
Karen
absolutely.
says. Well, thank you so much. Well, thank you, Ross, for coming in today.
You're welcome. My pleasure. Anytime.
And Charles, thank you for giving us such an informative tour.
My pleasure. Anytime, Costa.
It's been a real treat, and to celebrate Botanic Gardens Day 2022, this has been incredibly memorable for me and for everyone. For everyone who gets a chance to watch this video, and equally to all the replay viewers, enjoy the walk that we've. I'm sure you've just enjoyed the walk we've had. It's been a fantastic eye opener to so many different species, and I don't know which frame to end on. What image will we end on?
Bromeliads in the mist.
Okay, bromeliads in the mist. Here we go. Have a great day, everyone. Let us know which gardens you get out and visit in your local area. Thanks, Enos. Thanks, Melinda. Thanks, Paulie. See you, Nicola and Scotty, Phil and Julie. Thanks for joining us. Ciao for now.